Today is the 24th of February 2024. It's a very interesting date because it's 24/2 and 2/24, isn't it? So when you add it, you get number 16. And 6 plus 1 is, the magical number 7. And what makes it even more special is the fact that it has 6 at the beginning and 6 at the end. Actually, to tell you the truth, I wasn't really sure how to begin with this video. So I just made the first step. Let me take you to a place called, well, it's not the beginning, before the beginning. Of course, this planet was about to, host life, so to speak. But it's like an experimental planet. The planet of experiments. I'll make it short. Of course, there is a God, almighty intelligence that we know very little about. But there are certain, how should I call this? Civilizations, certain beings, that we also don't know about, or we don't know enough about them, or where they come from, or, whatever, you just name it. We just don't know enough, or we know nothing about. So they are the ones who had this certain knowledge and, maybe I can call it ambition. It's not important. Now, to plant the seeds into the soil, it's like when you're planting flowers or trees or something. So this is the beginning of something that's called mankind. So basically, we do know that we came from somewhere and someone. The problem is when these intelligences, actually, it's plural, started to behave a little differently. I shall say it like that. So we, the people, the ancient people, we had very little knowledge about things, and we accepted them as some kind of gods, The only truth that I know at this point is this one. The only thing that mattered was life, living a life, just living a life. And since this is an experimental planet, an experimental place to live in, since this is the truth, we have experiments of emotions, we have experiments of just generally discovering things, just developing ourselves in certain ways, in many ways, and doing what we want. Of course, at some point in time, it was also maybe I can say it like this, it was expected that probably something really bad is going to happen, something really bad is going to, some kind of evil will come to the planet. It will walk around the planet. It will change things, maybe destroy or accelerate something. You can always go to the very beginning, to the Genesis of the Bible, and you can read it yourself. There is some kind of a description at the very beginning, when God created animals and blah, earth, animals, seas, and everything. And he didn't create a man. And there is within the description something like, wait, I have to remember, something like, in the description of it, it's something like, because there was no man to cultivate the earth, so that was before the first man was created, actually. So, in a certain way, it was the idea of, Almighty God to create a man who will cultivate the earth. Right? Go there and read it. Maybe descriptions differ because of the translations in your language. Also, let me encourage you to go a little bit further, when these two, the first, Adam and Eve, they had 2 sons, blah, 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 and, it was said, it was actually it was expected from the very beginning, and it was actually written like this, because, their son left his parents, and then it says, because that's the way to live, actually. The son will abandon his parents. Maybe the translation of your biblical stuff is maybe a little bit different, but it has the same meaning. It was expected from the beginning to be like that. At this point, I want to say something, I remember the people, where I live, or just generally people who had like maybe 2, 3 sons or daughters, whatever, children. And I remember, how they become so possessive, possessive about them. You can't go, they like to, they're afraid of old age and being alone at the old age. And they expect from them to be with them. They expect it from their own children to be with them till the end of times, You're not going to carry them into your grave, will you? So basically, it's expected from you to get a life. And, yes, I've been giving a certain authority on this. I've been given an authority to, how do I say this, to enter another realms without too many questions, actually. Or I just ask the questions and, I'll get an answer. So, let me tell you something, some questions that I've asked, and I got answers from these, I'll call them, intelligences, or maybe civilizations, like I said at the beginning. And I don't know where they are in the universe or multiple universes, but I kind of have a feeling that I know them. They didn't refuse to communicate with me. They communicated, and they still do. Of course, I'll tell you one important thing. I won't tell you who they are. They told me exactly who they are, and that my origin it comes from them, from there. So let's begin. This is what I got in September 2021. Here is the speech that nobody else has. Lucky is the one whom God, how do I translate this into English? Lucky is the one whom God caressed, kissed, and touched. I remember I asked this one, how will I live and where? The answer was this one. Don't worry about yourself. Yours, everything has been written down. It's incredible, I always thought that, people are so vicious to one another that it seemed to me like they're always digging a hole for God to fall into. And I remember instantly that I thought this one. I thought like this, my God, those who dig a hole to me and to you, just put them, push them into it. And I got this answer, understanding. No one can dig a hole to God because, and that's because the vengeance has no meaning. It's a characteristic of ignorance. Of course, I remembered myself, I was so, sometimes I was so hungry for, revenge. How can somebody do something like that? And emotional revenge is the worst revenge. I already said it many times, and I've seen it in my life happening, That's why, I always say, well, sometime after I finished high school, I remember that, all these young people that I knew who got married or something, their children started to die. Those people are usually people who did something terrible to me or something not very nice, And this is the worst revenge you can have, emotional revenge, and that's the truth. And I remember after that, I said, thank you. And suddenly I hear this. It's incredible, but I wrote it. I just wrote it how it happened. I remember I said, thank you. And suddenly I hear this one. I am the one who is. You will not live for the expectations of others. Then I said, tell me, God, what do you want from us? We always want something from you. And the answer was this: light among people. And then he said, Here is the voice to you. From today, everyone will be afraid of you. A few days later, I just wrote what I heard. I didn't waste time on too many details, really. A few days later, he gave me some kind of blue light. I won't go into details to describe to you where and how, but a few days later, he told me, that blue light I gave you, use it. And at the end, it was like this: do not be afraid for anything. You don't have to pay anything for your freedom of thought and living. A month later, I get this one. The absence of love requires from you to punish someone because somebody didn't give you everything your way, but he or she or they imposed the rules of behavior, so it can be like other people say. Now let's go to small little wisdoms of life that I've been given. I didn't make them up. It came to me and I wrote it down. And I know where it came from the being that gave it to me. Here's this one. The one who needs you, that one wants to destroy you. And the one who loves you wants to build you. Oh, and this is the one it was from 2019 too. And it goes like this. Wait, I have to think how to say it in English. Your God, Yahweh, loves you. I've always loved you, and I always will love you. This is what I got. Then, after some time, this one comes. The one who is not happy about your happiness, you can be sure that one doesn't love you at all. Then it's this one. Those who tell you what you should do. This one has no idea who are you and why are you here. Then this one. Why would I change something that I made? You are what you are, and I love you. Now, I will tell you something that happened to me maybe just after the New Year's Eve. This is like more than a month, a month and a half maybe from today. I've noticed something strange in my mouth, and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, help me, because I don't have health insurance. I really don't have too much money. And I have nothing to do. Where will I go if my tooth hurts, And actually, it was something very strange. And I woke up one day with swollen gums, you know. And I was thinking, what do I do, you know? I just, I can't go to the dentist. What dentist? They are not free. So I'm gonna die from a toothache, you know. And basically I called my friends from the universe to ask them, what do I do? Am I going to die? And I've been told how to get to them, how to call them. I do this mentally, and it's kind of my natural state. And I saw something happening, and one of them came to me. I was just lying in my bed, you know, and I was thinking, well, what do I do? You know, I didn't feel any pain, but I felt something happening. And somebody came from over there and just right into my room next to my bed. But I kept my eyes closed. I already told you people, I see much better when I close my eyes. Because I can see what's happening here, and I can see what's happening somewhere else. And I remember he stood next to my bed and gave me something. It looked like a small, it was a very small white ball with some kind of holes in it. And maybe it was something written on it, I don't remember, but it was very small. And he put it into my gums. It's very hard to explain. You have to just imagine, you know. There is some kind of alien, you know, and he put something into my gum. And he says, it will be fine by tomorrow. And not to touch it. He told me not to touch it. Not to do like anything. And that was that. And tomorrow, I was surprised. When I woke up, well, it was still the same, but it was somehow different. It was changing color. And I started to panic. You know, you lied to me. Well, what do I do? Well, what do I do now? And I heard him say, don't touch anything. So the day after that, I woke up with my mouth. It was fine. It was gone. The swelling is gone. But my mouth was full of blood. So I rinsed my mouth during the day like 5-6 times. But I didn't touch anything. And it was gone. I remember the same one. I won't tell you his name. They all introduced themselves to me. I asked them who they are. But I won't tell you, of course. And I remember a few years earlier, maybe 4 or 5 years earlier, prior to this, you know, they fixed my knees. I have one video where I actually described how they visited me and they fixed my knees. Since then, I never had problems with my knees at all. And after he helped me with my tooth, it wasn't a toothache. It didn't hurt. It just felt very, I don't know, strange and swollen. And he just told me don't touch anything. And I didn't. I rinsed my mouth and that was that. And they also helped me, after they helped me, he helped me with the tooth. he helped me with my ankles. You know, I twisted my ankles 5 times in my life. It's like there is nothing. There is just an asphalt road, you know. There are no stones on it. But I fell and I twisted my ankle. I don't know how I managed, but I did, you know. And my ankles don't look like very normal. They are actually a little bit swollen. So he also helped me with my ankles too. And I can't say enough thank yous. There is a video from me. It's called Water of Life. And at the end of the video, I mentioned, you know, thank you. I want to thank them. They're not from this earth, actually. They're not. They live out of this planet. But they came and helped me. And let me tell you something else too. I recorded one shorts video, you know. It's not in English language. It's in my language, but it's like maybe 30, 40 seconds, not more than that. And it goes like this. Translated into English, it sounds like this. God, I've made it. I made it. I've seen how much the others are filthy and I am clean. And I'd like to, read something, but excuse my ancient English is not that good. It's in my language, so I have to translate everything actually. So it goes, it's something like this. It's in John 3:20, I think, 19. The light came to the world, but people loved darkness more than the light, because their works or deeds were evil. You see, people? Try to connect it with your life, with your deeds, works or deeds, however you call them, and just today's world in general. Truly, whoever does evil, he hates the light and doesn't come to the light, so that his works or deeds are not, known. I can say it like this, I guess. And those who do the truth, they come to light. So they come to the light. So so that his works or deeds are known and done in God. I really don't know this ancient English that much, but this is about it. Yes, I remember my dream. I spoke about it, I think, once or twice in my videos. I just said thank you, and I looked up into the sky, and and I remember I was dreaming. It was a dream, and I got hit by some kind of light ball, and it was like a very wide pipe. I was hit right in the middle of my chest, and I was it carried me just within a second, it carried me to some kind of enormous light in the sky. It was endless. It was illuminating. It was incandescent, you know. And that was my dream. And I remember it happened in just 1 second. And I remember as I went there, within a moment, that light, I just inhaled that light very deeply. And I woke up and I remember some kind of thorns in my hands and my lungs and my hands and everywhere. I remember thorns in my fingers, like some kind of electricity went out of my fingers and my hands. I remember that dream. It was the 16th, you know, I usually remember dates very well. It was the 16th of, or maybe the 15th of, January 2016. I still remember it. It was amazing. And yes, I decided to follow that thing. I decided to follow the voice from my dreams. People laugh at me, you know. I said it a few times to some people, and they just look at me in disbelief. It's just laughable. But I very often I woke up in the middle of the night and I have something to write down, and I write down something. Sometimes it's just a little poem. I've got many poems actually, or the truths. It's usually in a very archaic language, and I just write it down, you know. What's the point of forgetting everything? Of course, there'll be many things I'll forget, but what's the point of not writing it down? And, let me tell you one more thing. I remember it was about the same time in 2016. I remember this one, that I dreamt, well, I didn't see anything really, but I just heard something in this dream. And it goes like this: the trader will steal babies. You know, it was so strange. You know, when I woke up, I wrote it down. But what a stupid thing to dream, you know. The trader will steal babies. Little did I know that probably 2 years after that, I'll hear about Jeffrey Epstein. Little did I know. But I did. And it was all amazing. It couldn't happen. But, you know, when I turn around and I look at those times, you know, it did happen. It was impossible, and this was impossible, and that was impossible. And what does it mean? You know, it's so silly, stupid. What is this, you know? But I just decided to follow it. And it all came true. It wasn't in 2 or 3 days, or even 2 or 3 months. And this is what's killing me, you know. This is what I don't like. It takes too long. It is a miracle, I understand, but it takes too long. And let me finish this one with another biblical text, Yes, as I already said, I have a little problem with this old English language, but it's, I think it's in the first John 4:1. Beloved, do not trust every spirit, but check the spirits if they are from God, because many false prophets went into the world. This is how you know the God's spirit. It sounds something like this. Every spirit that says that Jesus Christ, actually, this word Christ is very important. It's more important than Jesus. That Christ came to in the body, he is from God. And another spirit that doesn't say that kind of Jesus is not from God. It's not the best translation, I understand, but it's the best one I can give you right now. And there is something else I'd like you to know. I've seen well, there were many times that I've seen, really seen Jesus in a dream, in my dreams, and also it happened to me in some kind of visions. But I'd like to tell you something. He gave me, I was at some kind of a source in the forest where I usually walk. There are many streams and there is a lot of water. And I saw Jesus, he gave me once he gave me, we were at the source of water, and he just bent over and with both hands, he took just the water. It's usually the place where I go to. And I saw him give it to me to drink. And I drank from his hands, both hands. And it didn't happen once. He bent over maybe 3 or 4 times. And I remember I was so thirsty. I was so, there's never enough water, Yeah, maybe 4 times he just bent over and took water and gave me the water to drink. And I drank from his hands. And I remember it was last month, I think. Yes, it's February now. It was the end of last month. And I remember I was I was in my bed sitting or maybe doing something on the phone. I don't know, just doing nothing basically. And I remember this. Suddenly I closed my eyes and I was very peaceful. And I remember that he, Jesus Christ, in a vision, came to me. He had an enormous, what's it called, like a carafe. It was full of, it was like 1 meter, when you look from the floor, it was like 1 meter tall, it was very big. And I remember I just knew, I knew he was carrying something for me. And I remember instinctively, I just opened my mouth, and he he lifted this carafe and he poured the whole carafe was in some kind of gold liquid. It looked like it was a little bit, it was water, it was gold water, but it was liquid and it was a little bit thicker than what we see as water, you know. When you look at water, it's not very thick, but it was a little bit thicker, and it was pure liquid gold. And I remember I just opened my mouth, and he lifted that carafe straight into my mouth. And I remember I didn't swallow anything. It's just like I didn't have a throat anymore. It was just added into my stomach. It's very hard to explain. So I found this one. I found this at the it's the Book of Revelations, the final one. It's called Revelation in English. It's 22:16, I think. It's the end of everything. And it says like this: who is thirsty, let him come to me. Who wants, let him get water of life for free. Jesus Christ, help me. I remember so many people in my life. They are good and bad. It doesn't matter now. But you know, you or someone, anyone, everyone, they always want to charge me for something, you know, something that I didn't do, something that I have no connection with. And life is free. The water of life is for free. And you get it in a huge carafe. It was very big. And it was just, you just open your mouth and you don't have to even swallow. It's just the water of life. That's what it is. You just get it directly into you, actually. Life. You people don't give me life. Most of you are actually, especially these areas where I live, they all love to be, they're hospitable and blah, 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 you know, not very bad, not necessarily bad. But, you know, you see many surprises after a while. I'm better off alone. Trust me, people. I don't need 50 people in my house every day. I don't need, I just go to the forest and I pet people's dogs and we talk and that's it. That's life, you know. Everything else is, I don't know how to explain. I'm tired of you. Oh yes, I remember another vision. It was just a few seconds, you know, that I saw it. It was Jesus Christ, and he came to me and he gave me, this time it wasn't water. He was carrying something in his hands. It was like, you know, for example, if you have a cup of tea or something, or a cup of coffee, you know, it was about that size, you know. And he was carrying something and he put it in my mouth and it was gold again, but it wasn't liquid. It was material. It was it was like something I had to eat. And he put it in my mouth. I just opened my mouth and he put this gold into my mouth. And I saw it, entering my mouth and going directly through my body. It's amazing, but it's true. It's the truth. Oh, and also a few years ago, maybe 5, 6, 10 years ago, I've been also given bread in my dreams. I've been given bread. I dreamt about so many bagels and cakes and breads, and I could choose everything, anything I wanted. It's amazing, but it's also the truth, I took some and I left the most, I don't need everything for me. So basically, I've been blessed. I've been blessed with many things, many gifts, and it's very strange because I was born I always say this and I'll always say it. I was born in a communist country. Yes, we did have religion, but it wasn't good to belong to a group, especially Catholicism, It wasn't good. It meant, well, probably when you grow up, you'll never find a job. Whatever, People are always afraid of something. And people are very stupid parents, actually. They do most things. They do things out of love, of course. But they're usually so ignorant, so full of fear, so full of, I don't know, it's like they've been cut off from the other worlds, actually. The sophisticated channels that give you the knowledge, that give you an access to how do I say this? To salvation, from this reality. I've been blessed. Also, something else too. I've been told this. You will always live in between the two worlds. It will always be like that. I've been told this. You are the king's daughter. I've been told this. You will speak with my voice. I've been told this. You will do something for me that nobody else will. Then I've been told this too. You will get the judgment of the world, and then I will come to you. I will come here and do a miracle. I've been told this, and it was by Jesus Christ. I knew it. So it goes like this. I will give you the authority that nobody else has in the world.